Hello everybody. We have another speedrun game, with the black pieces as we try to play the Pirc defense against Sam Ross, rated 1657, who gives up a pawn. And we take it. Okay, he doesn't even go for the immediate attack. So we'll just meet d4 with d5 with tempo. One way to play. You give up this square, but that's okay. You get to improve your center with tempo. Okay, he goes to this diagonal, which seems to be the wrong diagonal. But I guess he wants to undermine it and say it's the right diagonal. A simple development move before I close the pawn chain, so my bishop's not locked in. He aims over here. We close the pawn chain. We prepare to neutralize his piece with our own. And I think I like black's position already. So I don't want to give up the bishop just to mess up his pawns right here. I do want to challenge his most active piece while developing one of my own. If he takes, there's a case to be made for pawn takes. Knight here, check, knight back. So pawn takes is interesting. Queen takes, interesting. Knight takes, interesting. They're all interesting. Okay, he retreats the bishop to a worse diagonal. So both times he put his bishops to worse places. Now we can get the bishop pair just by taking his piece, which is weird. Although for the time being, he can't move it here to avoid the trade. He could move it on this diagonal, but... So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm just going to develop, get my king to safety, try to speed up my position. He moves the knight forward, attacking my bishop. That was his idea. I don't want to give it to him. So temporarily, I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to kick his knight, and I'm going to put it back. So let's see what he does. I'm going to kick it with a6, and then I'm going to have the potential to play c5, attacking their center, gaining more space for myself, and threatening c4. At any moment I could take this, but I don't want to help his queen and help him long castle. Maybe if he goes and moves his queen on his own, maybe I'll consider it then. But for the time being, I really like black's position. We're solid. We have good center, good minor pieces, and I'm not sure what these three are doing. And neither is he, because he's still thinking. When you have a simple move like castling in front of you, he's thinking, so you know he's not sure about this position. c3, c4, queen e2, castles, knight back, a4, bishop a4, h3. Like, what's, there's a lot of different things he could be thinking about, but he should choose relatively soon, or forever lose on the clock. I mean, it's not like we're threatening something crazy that he needs to think about. Just go c4, challenge our center, give the knight a square behind the pawn, try to open up your bishop, Go c4. If he goes c4, we go a6. He goes behind the pawn. c5. He takes. We take. No, I don't really like that. So maybe if you go c4, just c6. Because it solidifies and kicks in one turn. And when he goes back, we could just develop or something. We don't need to pawn break right away. But I mean, this is just minutes upon minutes. It's only moved 9. It doesn't even take 9 minutes to set this position up on the engine. Is that what he's doing? I don't know why I said 9 minutes. It's been 9 moves, but it's only been a couple minutes. And it's hard for me to come up with any more plans than what I've already spoken about, because my opponent's move changes everything. So you can't think too far in advance, because you might have to change everything at in a moment's notice. He finally makes the most obvious move, which is castling. But now that he didn't play c4, I don't need to over defend it. So I'm going to go with c5. He moves his knight back. We could take the bishop pair, which again helps the queen. Let's bring a knight out first. And then we're ready to push c5. Okay, he's targeting this square. I think c5 makes a lot of sense going with our plan. Saying, hey, now we have a better center than you. Just with the pawns even, forgetting the pieces. He goes a3, which gives a little room, but that's a terrible bishop if I do that. If I take this pawn, I'm hitting the knight. He's going to take back. You can't do this because your bishop hangs, so. I mean, normally you don't close down the center, but with a bishop like this, I'm going to do it. Call me crazy. Let's go b5 and just full queenside expansion. He jumps in the center because he probably wants to kick my knight. That's fine. We don't really care. His knight could go here and get the dark square bishop. Maybe we don't want that. But if we take this and this, now we have new diagonals, new center. I'm going to take this centralized piece. He takes back. We can't push just yet because our knight is hanging. But what if we take the bishop first, forcing queen takes, then we can push, hitting his knight. His knight then has a central square to go to. But we have a great pawn structure, far advanced. We could just throw our bishop here. Or we could start with this. We could develop our queen, fianchetto, or something. If we develop our queen, I mean, that looks good too. If we hit his queen, f4, you don't want that. If f6, f4 takes, good for us. If f6 takes, also should be super good for us. So f6 or d4. D4 knight in the center. What's my move? Let's say Queen D5, threatening the knight. Let's say knight back, hits our bishop. Bishop drops back. I mean, that's strong, but let's keep the knight restricted, keep the bishop restricted, and just go for f6. We'll have maximal piece activity, and he'll have minimal piece activity. Maximum, minimal. Maximal, maximum. We'll have maximum piece activity. We'll have maximal piece activity. Maximum. I guess they both work. Our position looks amazing. We are up a pawn. We have the bishop pair, better center, better pieces. Completely winning. Up one pawn, but completely winning. Also, if you push this to kick the knight, you better make sure you have some dynamic stuff right after that, because it does weaken the light squares a little bit, so he can try to undermine you. It shouldn't work because you should be able to push past, but maybe he pushes past and opens his bishop. Something like that. So you could just leave it. F6 is strong because no matter what he does, your pieces kind of get open, and that's really bad for him. That's why I took the knight here and moved this pawn. We can attack it, and we get this diagonal. And you may say, oh, well, isn't this a wedge pawn that you're scared about? Well, maybe if you had a knight here, a queen here, and if this came with tempo on a knight of mine, I had to move it. Maybe then, but none of that's true here. When I took this and he took back, it didn't come with tempo. Right? He takes back, I get to do what I want. I take his bishop, and now I get to challenge it. I still have d4 in my pocket at any moment, but probably for the future. And his bishop fully protects this otherwise backwards weak pawn from his rook. So after takes, or even with the rook, if you need extra support maybe, he can't even deflect your bishop to try to win it. So black's position is awesome, and that's why he only has 2 minutes on the clock. I'm trying to explain it so you really understand what's happening. And that's why fast games are terrible for chess. There's nothing you can possibly understand in 3 minutes as a club player. There should be a rule. Only titled players are allowed to play blitz. Because only titled players, in order to get the title, you have to play over the board. If you play over the board, whether you like it or not, you're playing for hours and hours of concentration, attention. So you're learning these ideas through critical thinking, through deep thinking over hours, and it sticks in your memory, and you learn everything, and you don't forget that game. These 10-minute games, I forget them like 2 minutes later, right? But over the board things, you're not going to forget. So titled players have spent so much time over the board that now it's in here. They can play it sleeping. They can play it drunk. It's there. So speed chess is a whole different thing than for you and me. And yet everyone enjoys speed chess, but it's really a terrible, terrible habit and game. So he tries to improve his bishop, but that doesn't make much sense. So now our center is super strong. He takes, but we get tempo moves, our choice. So what is our choice? Maybe start with, I guess we don't really want that diagonal. Maybe we go queen c7. Or bishop d6. Maybe bishop d6. Our queen can come to h4. Okay, let's try this. He goes back. Now you could try to push the center this way. to really bind him. But we kind of already have what we need. So let's develop. Queen here looks active and creates checkmate and 2 threat. And if he tries to sacrifice with this check and pick up the bishop, that's a good idea. But we have checkmate first. So he can try it on a different turn, but not right now. If he hits us, trying to prepare that, okay, he doesn't. But we're up material, positionally winning. Go here, which opens up the F file, opens up an attack on the rook. And if he takes, he gets mated. So let's try this cheeky move, which is mainly for piece activity. And it comes with a trick. But I want piece activity. There should be stuff here. Okay, he goes there, which opens a different diagonal, but we can maybe go here. And try to checkmate him. He can't take because that blocks his king. He takes this way, check here, check. Or maybe he takes this way, check here. I don't know, check. I guess he has to sack and exchange. So he moves his rook back. Check. Does he want to go here? Check, and then he wants to run behind it. That looks bad, but he only has 20 seconds. And what does this check do if he just runs this way? I mean, they're all winning, so. He only has 20 seconds, so we can flag him even with terrible moves if we want. We can take this. He can't even take back because of this. So in light of that, maybe this check. Yeah, that looks super strong. And even if he takes back, we can just checkmate him. We don't win the queen. So there's just so much pressure. And now you can see why I wanted piece activity, because all the resources it brings, even if you don't see it right away. So he wants to get to this escape route. We don't want him to do it, right? So you don't just take here and he runs. I mean, you could, but instead we can move the rook here, double check, and then if he takes the rook, do we have a cool move? This, if he goes up its mate, he has to go here. This, he has to go here. This, he has to go here. I mean, you could take the queen there, or it's all good. Doesn't really matter. Whatever. After all that calculating, I'm just going to do this. He has 5 seconds. We'll throw in a check, just so he gets confused and runs out of time. Runs out of time. I wasn't even like looking for best moves or anything, so those, I doubt the engine's going to say they're best, but it's everything's winning. It doesn't really matter. So we play the Pirc, and we have a totally black bar, which you cannot see. 1 mistake, 31 center pawn, 95 accuracy. Of course, it's going to be a lot easier when they do this. Computer says his best move is to sack the bishop right away, bring the king out, probably hit it with the queen, and at the very least, you have some initiative. You get the piece back, king e8, you get the piece, and black is slightly preferred, it says. Bishop out, knight f3, queen up. We cannot castle, remember. If he castles, we go for the queen trade, and he avoids it. 6. So material's even. So there's a line that, so is there any way to just keep it? So after he sacks his bishop, so is that not the best move? Hold on. No, you should take it. I mean, there's other moves, but and he has to go here, or he's just worse. I have to take, or I'm worse. He has to go here, or he's worse. Now I do have options. I don't have to play g6, but I am gonna lose the knight. So if I make the other move that's more natural, he gives this check anyway. We go here, he takes the knight. Now we go here. Okay, this is more my speed, more my style. I don't know. My king is a little weird though. Can I get the rook out? Okay, you do get it out. Okay, so I guess you can sack that pawn. It's a weird line. So 2 pawns out and the bishop. Some type of gambit that works. I mean, black is fine, but if you sack, it's a thing. I didn't know that. In any case, he didn't do it. It says we're -1. A pawn better. Well, up the pawn we just took, basically. And he has no initiative. But it's good to know that. So if that's the case, I don't even want to take this. I know it's engine. It's tied for top. But, or maybe slightly top. But I feel like if we can avoid that initiative he gets. But how do you keep it in the Pirc? Because g6, I mean, I guess you can still try g6. So I guess we'll try to transpose next time. Anyway, we push in the center, improve for free. Develop a piece, center, ready to retreat it. Center and development -1.7. So we're just, from here on, it just gets better and better the rest of the game. We develop, center, and neutralization. He should have traded, but he retreats -3. King safety and development. He attacks our bishop. Let's say force move. Bishops are better generally. Free improving move. Developing towards the center. Attacking the center. Gaining space. -3.3. Improving queenside expansion for free, but most importantly, restricting the bishop so it's terrible. Trapped here or terrible here. It's as if he's playing without that piece in this structure. So we just solidify in case he tries to attack us. We can push past and make things really bad for him. He jumps in the center. We take his most active piece, -4. We now take the bishop. We have the bishop pair. And we have this idea. If I put on the engine, you see it is a little early, as it gives him a square and doesn't necessarily, you don't have the immediate pawn pushes. So they like taking this diagonal, which makes a lot of sense. Queen c7. So basically getting on the dark squares or queenside expansion. So does it not like f6? No, it's fine. It's higher evaluation than the moves they're listing. Okay, now it's... How does that make sense? Okay, so f6 is a very strong move, and I think it makes more sense than the other engine recommendations. It's just as strong. Whether he takes or doesn't take, it just makes our center amazing. It's -4. Okay, so best move was bishop d6, which makes a lot of sense, aiming at the king as well. He goes back, we get free development with a threat. I thought he can go for some type of like, if queen goes here and you just, I don't know, let's just for argument's sake, he can try something like this, trying to pick up the bishop. It still says it's -5. We just move our king, and if he picks up the bishop, material is he's up a pawn. But it's -6 because these light squares he cannot stop. These pieces are 8 points of material out of the game. So he's up a pawn, -6. And again, you may not see the exact follow-up, but you have to be able to see these are out of the game for the next couple turns. You have tempo on the queen, tempo on the rook, checkmating opportunities. Terrible. But he didn't, and even if he does go g3, I just made a random move. Maybe you have better. Well, actually, these two are fine. So queen h5. This actually hits the rook, which is annoying because now if he tries to sack, the end of the line, the rook could be hanging. So he doesn't have time to take the bishop. So he didn't do that though. He just made a weakening move. It goes to -12. They want us to take the pawn, -32. They want us to take this. If he takes, we're threatening mate in 2. If he tries to stop it, we can just take this. True. So instead of being -45.6, which is much, we make a fancy move. Is this even on the list? Bishop g4? Not really. Everything's winning. Like, you're either -45 or -6. So we go for the -6 option, hitting a rook, setting a trap. Again, if he does stuff like this, he makes weaknesses. This is the human way. Doesn't matter about the engine. We know they're going to play bad moves, which increase our advantage to mate in 11, mate in 4, mate in 3, blah, blah, blah. Hopefully, you learned something from this game. How to play a center-oriented game, how to bring out your pieces, how to not give up your bishop for the knight for no reason. I mean, how to restrict a piece and make it useless. If you didn't learn any of that, you weren't paying attention. Good luck in your chess and goodbye.